Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Since 1955, Evers Construction has been the company folks have trusted for residential and commercial construction projects. Today, Evers is still the leader in building and is just as committed to maintaining. From residential to commercial and industrial, Evers' team of experts stands ready to install, service, and repair all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Specializing in leak repair, maintenance, air duct cleaning and repair, air handler service, drain cleaning, gas line work, emergency unit repair, inspections, and more. Evers Construction offers a preventative maintenance package to keep your home or business cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Trained, trusted, reliable. For more information or to schedule an appointment with the pros who know, phone 931-762-3593 or visit eversconstructionco.com. Evers Construction Company in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
The Raptor Series from Hustler Turf. A premium line of residential mowers designed with a wide stance for operator comfort, a one-piece 11-gauge steel frame and welded steel deck for added durability, finished off with premium Kawasaki V-twin power. We are Hustler Turf, and this is Hustler Country.
Mac Brown has been providing photographic services for 55 years. During that time, Mac Brown photographers have photographed children, seniors, weddings, schools, musicians, and commercial businesses. The studio takes great pride in producing quality photographs and services for its many clients. While the studio has adapted as times have changed, their goal of providing excellent photography has remained constant. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at macbrownphoto.com or give them a call at 931-762-4263. Let the professionals at Mac Brown Photography turn your memories into treasures.
Back to school equals back to big savings at Heritage Automotive in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Score 0% financing on select models and up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 1500 trucks. Over 150 used vehicles, all priced to move and below market value. Need service? Our expert team is ready, and we've got loaner vehicles to keep you moving while we work. Hurry into Heritage Automotive, where the deals are hot and the savings are huge.
Heritage Automotive. Expect more, experience the difference.
Arts, crafts, stationery, journals, books, educational toys, wrapping paper, devotionals, greeting cards, and much more can all be found at Paper and Thread in downtown Lawrenceburg. Shop local to find the perfect gift or have a custom gift basket made for just the right occasion. Paper and Thread has a party room now available for birthdays, classes, and so much more. We could go on and on about all the neat things you'll find at Paper and Thread, but you just need to hop in your car and head down there. 106 North Military Avenue in Lawrenceburg is where you'll find them and discover what makes Paper and Thread awesome. That's Paper and Thread in downtown Lawrenceburg, 106 North Military Avenue, just north of the square.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome here to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Taylor Plott, and Taylor's rocking his Bama polo. Who would have ever thought all these years later, Bama being who Bama is and Vandy being who Vandy is, that you guys walk into your office on Mondays bragging that you beat Vanderbilt?
I mean, it's definitely something that's changed. And the thing that I was telling my dad about after the game, which, by the way, I felt like that game was exactly what it needed to be. It was a really good game. Let me put it this way. I would have been obviously completely okay if Bama made a statement and it was like a 55-7 type of game. Yeah. That's fine with me. But I felt like the way Vanderbilt is and the way how Bama's looking for revenge from last year. Right. I felt like this needed to be a good game. It needed to be a good quality game, and it was. I mean, it was 14-7 in the second quarter, and kind of sitting back thinking like, hey, Vandy's doing what they've been doing. Mm-hmm. They're moving the ball. Yeah. Are we going to be able to stop them and do what we need to do? And sure enough, they did. But I was telling him, it was like, I felt like this game was exactly what it needed to be.
I think you took Vandy's best punch.
Yeah.
And not only did you take it, you had a bigger and better punch after
yes.
that. That drive at the end of the first half where, you guys had, a minute 17 on the clock?
With no timeouts.
With no timeouts. Went down, got the tying touchdown. You avoided a big one in the third. On that scoop and score where I thought at the time his elbow was down and replay confirmed that it was down. That could have been a huge backbreaker. But you took their best punch. Vandy talked all the ish that they talked.
Yep.
You forced Diego to make a mistake, which he hasn't done all year. I get what you're saying. It's better to take someone's best punch and still beat them by 2 touchdowns than just roll in, beat them 55-7, and just because Vandy just was who they were.
Yeah, exactly. And Vandy's best punch is obviously a lot more of a punch than it has in years past. They are a much better team than they were last year. And I felt like the thing that's different last year is let me put it this way. In the SEC, obviously you've had the so-called bottom feeders for the longest time. Vanderbilt's going to be one of those. Kentucky's going to be one of those. And of recent-ish years, Arkansas has kind of been one of those kind of
Mississippi State.
And Mississippi, you could put Mississippi State in that list too. I really think Mississippi State was just because the leech effect and what the aftermath from it, because we're seeing the Mississippi State team that I felt like you should have been able to see last year, but you were still kind of dealing with stuff.
Right.
But anyway, just like Vandy, Kentucky's always been the one that's like, okay, you kind of expect some things from them. But with it being the SEC, it's one of those things where in my mind, Vandy had a good year last year, but they flew under the radar because of who they were. And now you turn around this year, you still have a lot of people that came back from last year. Obviously, Diego Pavia, one of them. And you felt like they're going to be better. Well, in the SEC, it's almost like a flip of a switch where it's like, all right, well, you flew under the radar last year. You're not flying under the radar this year. Our eyes are on you. And they have not been flying under the radar at all. They've been doing what they've needed to do. Really and truly, their only key opponent until Alabama on Saturday was South Carolina. We saw what they did to them. And this was going to end up being their biggest test. And I still, obviously, Bama wins the game, but I feel like they still did what they can do as a team. I just think Alabama is just by far more just better than they are.
I agree.
But it's just, I didn't think that Vandy was going to be flying under the radar this year, especially with the SEC, regardless of who the team is. If you felt like they flew under the radar last year and they're coming back around and will be doing the same thing this year, they're all eyes are going to be on them.
Here's the remaining schedule for Bama. They're at Missouri, who's top 15. Then you come back home for Tennessee. Then you go to South Carolina, which I do not like that spot. Because at South Carolina with LSU, Oklahoma, back-to-back. You got 3 straight home games, LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and then you're at Auburn. And, oh, man, if you can win out, you're a bye. You get a bye in the playoff. Honestly, I would forfeit the SEC championship. Don't take the beat.
Don't
don't get your team beat up. Not saying you would lose it. You know, you'd probably be favored no matter who you're playing. But just that's a tough that's tough road to hoe, right?
It is, and the thing that is well embedded in my mind is looking at that schedule. There's 2 specific games that I have circled, and it is this coming weekend at Missouri, and it's going to be that South Carolina game because you're exactly right. Missouri is before we get Tennessee, and that's going to be one of the biggest games of the season, I think, because once again, just like Vanderbilt, you're wanting revenge. Once again, you got to get through Missouri. You cannot overlook Missouri. They are a much better opponent than Vanderbilt was. I think they obviously now Vanderbilt's not ranked higher than Missouri, but they were last week. They were ranked higher than Missouri last week. But Missouri is a better quality opponent that I think Vanderbilt is. You you can't go into that game, and I don't know what it is. There needs to be, in my mind, there needs to be several studies done about like certain games, game locations, and game times. Yeah. For some odd reason, Alabama just does not do well on 11 a.m. kickoffs. I don't know what it is. Not many
teams do.
Not many teams do.
Unless you're a Big Ten team and you're just used to that.
That's the thing. You're used to it because Ohio State's used to it. They're on big noon kickoff every single week, apparently.
Like, I can't, locally, I've been, of all the games to Tennessee that I've gone to, again, I'm not a Tennessee fan. I am now because of my family. Yeah. And I've gone to a lot of games. I've gone to one. No. Scratch it. I've gone to two. One was against the FCS team. The other was against South Carolina. Like, they're not playing Bama at noon. They're not playing Georgia at noon.
Those are 2:30 or 6 o'clock games.
3:30,
or 3:30, yeah.
Or the nightcap games.
The nightcap. Yes. I don't know. Like I said, there needs to be a study done. There's something that Bama does at 11 a.m. that is different from all the other times they play. But Missouri and South Carolina are the ones circled because I feel like they're potential trap games. Yeah. Because you do not need to be looking forward to Tennessee this week because Missouri can easily beat you. You don't need to be looking forward to LSU because South Carolina, even though they seem to be kind of iffy this year, you just never know where you're going to get down there in Columbia. So those are the two games that in my mind are circled where you need to show up, you need to play, you need to get the job done. And I will say this is a different Kalen DeBoer. Mm-hmm. There's Jeremy Bernard talked about on a podcast that I'll watch every now and then, the next round. A couple weeks ago, talk about how his attitude has changed. He's getting into people's rear ends. He is yelling. Mm-hmm. There's a different vibe with DeBoer that he's saying, hey, there's a lot more previous establishment that has started to come back around, and he's starting to push things that needed to be pushed, and they've responded. They responded against Georgia. Apparently on Friday, there was a players-only meeting, and Bernard was interviewed by, I'm blanking on her name from Game Day.
It was on Game Day.
It was on Game Day.
I watched it.
Yeah, and obviously he didn't go into detail. Yeah. I have a buddy of mine who's pretty close with the team, and he said that apparently they pulled a whiteboard out and they wrote down quotes that Pavia said. Mm-hmm. I think one of the running backs said something, and a couple other Vanderbilt players were chirping about things. They wrote it on the whiteboard, and Bernard said that after that meeting, everybody was fired up. Yeah. That's the type of focus that Saban instilled in his players, and I know DeBoer did it, but it's something clicked in him that he realized this is the SEC. This isn't the Pac-12 and everything where you can just put great players on the field and you could basically win out. Right. It's a different animal, and he's starting to come around to that, and he's changed his ways. Obviously, people go to the black hoodie. The black hoodie's everything, but he needs. Vanderbilt was a test. Yeah. He needs to do the same thing for Missouri, and just it's day in, day out, week in, week out.
Yeah, I love this coaching job. And speaking of Pavia and all that stuff that they were talking, I know everyone's seen the video of them walking off the field.
Yeah,
and
with the fan.
Yeah, and the fan was certainly in the wrong, but he was in the right for what he was talking about, the way Pavia was acting.
Yeah.
But I heard someone bring this up, and I agree with it. Like, in that moment, you talked all that trash. Yeah. You acted the way that you did on the field. You had a very key fumble in that game that makes it a 2-score game, and that puts Bama in a huge hole if you do not fumble.
Yep.
Right then and there. And then you walk off the field and you're jawing with the fan. I do whatever I want to do. Well, apparently you don't do that against Alabama's defense. You don't do what you want to do. Like in that situation, put your helmet on, put your mouthpiece in, walk off the field.
Yeah.
And then as coach, man, you're saying that to a kid. I'm like, dude, didn't you guys literally try to get you got an NCAA waiver that an Alabama grad fought for you to get?
Yeah.
That ain't a kid, bro.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's a man. That's a grown man.
I was already 2 years into my first full-time job at his age.
Yeah.
He's getting money. That's a man. And he talked all that trash. You're just getting it right back. So walk off the field, put your helmet on, put your mouthpiece in.
Yeah.
Don't say a word. Take your butt chewing and learn your lesson, but not him.
Not him, and a lot of there were so many storylines with this Vanderbilt matchup, specifically with Pavia. One being who he has been. He's kind of become known for trash talking. Yeah. And look, I get it. It's sports. It's college. You know, we would do it in high school. You know, with our crosstown rival when I was in high school, we would. That's normal. I get that. But at the end of the day, like you said, if you cannot back up your words, you're going to have to receive the dish back, and you're going to have to be able to take it the best you can.
Tip your hat.
Yeah.
Nod, don't say a word, and walk off.
Just walk off. The other storyline, which I didn't really think about too much, and I actually didn't really know that he had hung out with him a lot, was Johnny Manziel is hanging out with Diego Pavia a lot.
Do not listen to that.
And there's a lot of, I've been reading a lot of people talking about it, and there's some speculation on. So, obviously, Johnny's been out of the spotlight for a long time now. Yeah. But from what I have heard and seen, he has changed his ways. There's a lot of stuff that he talks about. There's like a podcast he was on where he says, there's a lot of dumb stuff that I did, and I don't do that anymore. And he kept going back to the stuff that he said and was like, man, that was a different me. There's some people that I saw that are speculating that what is he doing with Pavia? Is he does he see Pavia as his version of his old self that he's trying to reel him in, saying, hey, let me show you why you don't need to do this? But there's other people, because apparently on the sideline, Johnny Manziel was getting into it with some of the Alabama fans, kind of doing like he was doing some trash talk back. I'm wondering if he's trying to say, okay, well, maybe I'm not the old Johnny, but hey, this guy could be the old Johnny. Let me give him some advice on how to be that type of. I don't know. I didn't even think that was going to be a storyline, but apparently it is.
I would avoid Johnny, man. I don't care if he is reformed.
I would just steer clear of him.
Steer clear of him. Looking at the rest of Andy's schedule. Home versus LSU, home versus Missouri, at Texas, speaking of 11 a.m. kickoffs, and then home versus Auburn, home versus Kentucky, at Tennessee. Those are all winnable games. There is not Georgia's not on this schedule. Ole Miss isn't, A&M isn't, Oklahoma's not on the schedule. That's after Texas losing at Florida, and the fact that, Texas had a better team when they came to your place a year ago and only beat you by one score. Now they're down. You have a better team, but then again, that's 3 weeks from now.
Right? Who knows what happens?
Or 4 weeks because they got a bye week in there. But who knows who is going to have what when they walk into that game?
You're exactly right, and I think that Vandy. That obviously there's no cakewalk in the SEC, but if you had to point out a schedule that was like, hey, that's probably the best case scenario. I think Vandy's got the best case scenario. Alabama being their only true test for several weeks until they get Tennessee at the end. And I mean, who's to say that we go into that final week of the regular season and there could be like a 3-way tie at the top or something, or
that could be 9-2 Vandy gets 9-2 Tennessee.
It could be. Who knows exactly what, but they have.
They thought Bama was brutal.
Just wait till you get Neyland
that time of the year.
Yeah, but Vandy, if there was a schedule, even though we talk about this Vandy team is obviously a lot better than what they were last year, but if they were to get a schedule where you could say go to the last regular season game and win it, and you might be in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
They've got that schedule.
I would have to look at it, but that might be the weakest remaining schedule.
Yeah.
And still, I would hate for any of my teams to play that schedule. But as far as that SEC goes, okay, that's not as bad as it could be.
It is doable.
Very doable. Ohio State big winners, even though they got off to a slow start against Minnesota. I think the team outside of Bama and Ohio State, and you can put A&M up there because A&M slow start against Mississippi State, but their defense has played outstanding there. Outside of that, I think the most impressive team we have seen is Miami. Now the score doesn't They won 28-22. They gave up 19 points unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Florida State made it close, but Miami's offense got clicking, and that defense was just outside of the fourth quarter was outstanding.
Yeah,
they are looking like they're one of the best 3, 4, 5 teams in the country.
Yeah, I feel like they were. I feel like going preseason and looking, people figured that Ohio State was going to be Ohio State. Mm-hmm. That you felt like Bama was going to be better. Mm-hmm. Penn State. I don't know if we're going to bring up Penn State. I imagine we're going to. I imagine that's going to have to be coming up soon.
We'll get through all the upsets, and that's going to be one of them.
I felt like Miami though was one where you knew that they were going to be good, but there was a question mark on it because the question mark was how good were they going to be.
And their first road test against a hostile place to play, where another top 15 team has already gone and lost. And that's where you were going.
Yeah, and I think that they've passed the test with flying colors so far, and that defense, my goodness, when going back to the game day, when Nick Saban is giving you high praise and he's going through his checklist of what you need to have mentality wise, and they have all of it. And when he gives you high praise on the defense, you know that you have a very good defense, and that defense honestly looks like some of the defenses that Bama had when Kirby Smart was defense coordinator. They were swarming to the ball. They attack you. They don't. I feel like you can tend to get some defenses where they'll sit back and they want you to come to them, and then they'll stop you. And as opposed to, no, we're coming to you and we're going to stop you. Right. And they do that every single game. And I feel like the fourth quarter, that
it was a very Mario Cristobal. They totally took
they kind of put their foot off the gas, and I get that, and they had to kind of clamp down at the end, but they got the job done. But for 3 quarters of that game, I mean, that was the best defense. I really think they're the best defense in the nation right now.
Here's the remaining schedule. At home versus Louisville, who just picked up their first loss of the year. Virginia came from behind.
Yeah.
That Virginia team's looking really good. Then they're home versus Stanford, at SMU, home versus Syracuse, home versus NC State, at Virginia Tech, and at Pitt. And if you're a Miami fan, the last thing you want to see is at Pitt at the end of the regular season, which has been their bugaboo for so long. Is there any reason they shouldn't go undefeated?
They shouldn't go undefeated, but there's just...
You just never know.
Well, you just never know, and there's something, and I want to feel and think that this Miami team is different. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they're going to just completely blow the competition and win the national championship, but I want to believe that this Miami team is a real true title contender and they will get there. Mm-hmm. But there's just something that Mario Cristobal, there's a game or two each year where it's like you expect them to win, and then they just don't really show up.
Pee down their leg.
Yeah, they do. They pee down their leg.
A lot of times it's happened at Pitt. I think it's not one was under Richt. I can't remember the other coach where they went there late in the year. It was on a Friday after Thanksgiving. Yeah. And looked awful, like nobody in the stands, and Pitt just beat them. So then they got to go there.
They got to go there.
It's like, history's about to repeat itself. But if that's their lone loss of the year, it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, and they'll be in the ACC championship.
Yeah, knowing who they've beaten to get to that point. Yeah. Schedule for Florida State remaining: home versus Pitt, at Stanford, home versus Wake Forest, at Clemson, home versus Virginia Tech, at NC State, at Florida. Clemson, Florida might be their toughest test. Yeah. For some reason, Florida State at NC State. NC State always has their number when they go to Raleigh. Those are games that, there might be one loss left, which, because they're 0-2 in the ACC, that might knock them out. So they've kind of got to be perfect here. But you kind of alluded to it, Taylor. The most, you've covered sports, I've covered sports, I've been to a lot of these games. I can't really think of and I've seen some big upsets, and I've seen them in person. Yeah. Ones that have cost certain teams whose helmets are on our table national championship games. I can't think of anything more baffling than what we saw at the Rose Bowl on Saturday. cannot believe it happened. I'm still in shock that it happened. None of that, I mean, everything that went into it. Penn State loses in double overtime to a really good Oregon team. Then, UCLA, who had only scored 47 combined points up to this point, had lost to Northwestern.
And has never led in a game.
Never led in a game. They have an offensive coordinator who found out he was calling plays Wednesday. He even multiple times didn't turn on the button on his headset to call in the play.
And forgot that his mic was flipped up.
Forgot his mic was flipped up. And this guy, I mean, I'm team stats, UCLA have 446 yards total offense, 10 of 16 on third down. And they hang, and this guy, first game ever calling, he's going up against the highest paid assistant coach in college football. And they hung 42 points. They were up 27-7 at the half. I mean, it's the first time a winless team that this far into the season beat a top 10 team since 1985 when 0-6 UTEP beat 7th ranked BYU. I can't believe it.
I knew it was going to be brought up today, and I've kind of periodically kind of gone through my mind on how I don't even know how to make sense of this game. The one thing that I will say, and I feel like that we've seen this occur, not to this magnitude, I will say, but we've seen it occur before where you get your head coach fired, you get your OC fired, or you get coaching changes involved during the middle of the season. And given the right circumstances, you can have a turnaround of a team. Because if you've removed a bad entity from that team, things change. And we've seen that occur year in and year out with some teams. The thing that shocks me is this UCLA team was nowhere near a caliber that you would think that the talent that they had on the field was comparable with the talent that is coming from State College, Pennsylvania. And yes, people can say, oh, well, it's the East Coast team having to fly to the West Coast. I get that. That probably has some impact with it. But at the end of the day, the negatives should have still outweighed the positives, and UCLA should have gotten dog stomped by Penn State. That's the only thing I can go off of is that you removed a bad situation from a team that has okay talent, but some fire got lit underneath them. I don't know if it was Neuheisel's son who was calling the plays, he did a great job, by the way. And again, this is nothing to take away from UCLA. They did a fantastic job, but something happened where I'm still baffled because, and you can say, okay, well, Penn State lost a heartbreaker to Oregon. Yes, they did, but you should have been able to have a quick rebound at UCLA, scoring 40, 50 points and getting out of there.
You had the perfect opponent.
Yeah, the perfect.
You couldn't find anyone any better than that.
No one better than that. And from the Penn State aspect, the thing, I will say this, and again, obviously at the end of the day, this is a horrible loss for Penn State. But the one thing I will say is they at least did not back down. No, they were down 27-7.
Great comeback.
Great comeback, and had a chance to take the lead and possibly even win the game. And then they ended up screwing it up. But I really, truly think that the biggest takeaway from this is, when the hell is James Franklin going to get fired from there?
And I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I came from there to here. Now again, that was 5 years ago, and the 1 year I was there was the COVID year, which was the worst year they ever had there. I mean, Paterno didn't he have? I mean, there's so many different circumstances, and they clearly bounced back since then. But there is. It's a weird scenario with them because he does win you 10 games a year.
Yes.
He never wins the big games, but in today's expanded world of playoff, winning 10 games gets you into the playoff because despite your lack of a non-conference schedule, your conference schedule is going to be enough because you're going to play enough tough opponents. And he beats all the teams he's supposed to beat. For the most part, wins the 50-50 games.
Yep.
And all the games that they're supposed to lose, they lose. And you wrap it all up. That's 10 wins every year, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And they gave him this 10-year guaranteed money contract. So I think as of right now, to buy him out would be $56 million.
And you make good points, and that's what my brother. So I know I've said this before. I know I told you this that we have ties to Penn State. I got a distant cousin on my stepmom's side that he's a senior this year, but my stepmom, that side of my family, has always been Penn State diehard fans for decades. So there is an aspect of this that we talk about at home, and my brother made your point, which I completely understand, is he wins you 10 games a year.
Right.
Yes, he doesn't win against Michigan. Yes, he doesn't win against Ohio State. But in the expanded playoff, you end up getting into the playoff. The thing that I can see as a difference between it's Penn State and the Big Ten versus this is a Georgia in the SEC. Yeah. If Kirby Smart ended up going 10-2 or 9-3 every season, and make a playoff one year, miss the playoff, make the playoff one, I would almost suspect that you give him a few years of that, he's probably out, because it's a different situation down in the SEC as opposed to what it is up in the Big Ten. So you're completely right in the fact that they are very content. And I've heard nothing bad about James Franklin. They absolutely love him up there.
I know a couple guys on the staff, and the people, for the most part, in State College do like him.
Yeah.
And again, I was there for a really bad moment, and he got a lot of grace from that because he had built up a lot of good steam.
Right.
It's just, COVID was just terrible.
It was just a weird,
such a weird year. The fact that even why I think Nick Saban's the greatest college football coach of all time, because you were able to navigate that, still be dominant, win a national championship, and all those guys are now doing something in the NFL. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. But and it always begs the question. But I'm starting to see where the effects of it, because this team right here had a coach that they fought, that they pretty much ran out of town. He's no longer with us. God bless his heart, Bill Stewart. He went 9-3 every year, and they ran him out of town because that was not good enough for Morgantown.
Yeah.
Guess how many 9-win seasons or 10-win seasons we've had since we let him go?
Like 2? Yeah.
2. He had 3.
Yeah.
We've had 2 ever since. And that kind of Bill did the same thing. Won every game they're supposed to win. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 they're supposed to win that he didn't. But, in almost 40 games that he was the head coach, that's not half bad.
Yeah.
Franklin, outside of Saturday, wins every game you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And so that begs the question, because Tennessee fans will tell you, we'll take 10-2 every year. But we're starting to hear those rumblings about that guy in Knoxville. Heupel doesn't win the big games. He certainly doesn't win the big games on the road.
Yeah.
Until he can prove us wrong in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
Tuscaloosa next week, right? Not this coming week, but the week after.
Yeah, next week.
Yep. Yeah, he can prove us wrong next week.
Yeah.
And he can prove us wrong later when they go to Florida, because it looks like they're starting to pick some things up. But that begs the question that do you want 10-2? You get into the playoff, but you never win a real meaningful game.
That's one of those. That's one of those questions that is you're never going to have a clear-cut answer,
right?
Because
it's so
it's the way that I see it is, up until this point, yes, he wins the 50-50 games. He wins the games that you're supposed to win. Yeah. And yes, very rarely will he win a game against Ohio State and Michigan. I think he's 1-11 against Ohio State.
Ohio State once and Michigan once.
It was once or twice. I can't remember. But so it's not like he's gone over, but obviously he is pretty close to it. But you get into the playoff now. Last year they had to, was it Boise State that they beat?
Yeah. And then, Boise State, they beat SMU at home.
Yeah.
Then they beat Boise State, then lost to Notre Dame.
Then lost to Notre Dame in the semis. And people, the only ones that, I'm trying to remember the stat because Boise State was on it, it was like the only 2 2 top 10 teams that like James Franklin has beat. One of them was Ohio State when he got his one win.
2016.
Yeah, and then the other one was Boise State.
Yeah.
And that was just because it was a playoff.
Yeah.
It's just a very tough question because on one hand, the thing that irks me looking at this from not being a Penn State fan, but at least knowing the fan base and knowing what product they're putting on the field, is this is probably by far his most talented and best Penn State roster that he has ever had there. And you go into the Rose Bowl and lose to an 0-4 UCLA team who's fired their coach, fired their OC, and just hadn't even held a lead. Yeah. So now the narrative becomes, okay, well, he can't win the big games. Now he can't. Right. He did not even win the easiest game of the season, probably. Right. I don't know. I know we probably got to go to break, but the one thing that I will say to end it would be, the question for Penn State would be, if you need to let go of him, who are you going to get? Yeah. Because it almost feels like, okay, if you can be content with 10-2, making the playoff, losing to your rivals, and maybe winning a game or two in the playoffs, you're probably not winning a national title. Right. But is that still worth it? Yeah. Or do you feel like, no, we have too much talent here, something is not right, we need to move on and find somebody else who can actually instill these players to actually not only meet their standard but exceed their standard.
And then that begs the question after that: who do you get?
That's the thing. Who do you get?
There's so many catch-22s in this. Like, this could be that 1 year where they're not what we expect them, just like 2020 was. But then, they come back, and how many straight 10-win seasons have they had?
I mean, it was every single one.
Yeah, every single one of them.
And you could have thrown a Dabo Swinney in there if it was not an NIL situation, but I don't think that he would be a candidate.
And that's a problem with this buyout. That's $56 million because it's a fully guaranteed contract. And from what I know, they are a bit behind in NIL money. Yeah. Because I love State College, but State College, Pennsylvania does not have some of the money that some of these other places do. And you just run into one buzzsaw after another. Here's their remaining schedule. Now they got Northwestern at home, then they're at Iowa, which that's been a bugaboo for them for a long time. At Ohio State, home versus Indiana. At Michigan State, home versus Nebraska. At Rutgers. I can see 2, maybe 3 more losses. The way that this team is playing right now on that schedule.
I can agree with that. I think that Ohio State, until he proves to me otherwise, I'm going to mark that down as an L. So at this point, you've got 3 losses. Yeah. You would think that they would beat Northwestern, but now it's almost like every single game is going to be a question mark. That Iowa game's always going to be a testy one. Yeah. You might. Let me put it this way. At this point, I would say best case scenario for James Franklin and Penn State is you end this season 9-3, with your only remaining loss being Ohio State. You miss out on the Big Ten championship. You miss out on the playoff. You're going to like the Outback Bowl or something like that. The worst case scenario, which you wouldn't think would be in play, it could honestly be in play. You're ending this season maybe. I was going to say 7-5, but 8-4 maybe. Yeah. And who's to say it could be 7-5? I don't know.
Who knows? We mentioned Virginia, Illinois winners at Purdue. They had 27 points in the second quarter. And then 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. They kind of put some things together. They got Ohio State at home next week. Boise State slow start against. Notre Dame slow start against Boise State. They pulled it out. Michigan and Wisconsin was oddly neck and neck until about midway through the third quarter when they took over. Georgia pretty dominant there against Kentucky after a slow start. Texas Tech really dominant on the road at Houston, knocked them from the ranks of the beaten. Iowa State, Cincinnati, it was 31-15 at halftime. Iowa State certainly made it close there at the end. Had a couple really questionable coaching decisions there, which I did not expect out of Matt Campbell. And then Texas.
That's the other one.
Our preseason 1 and 2s are outside the top 25. Yeah. And Texas, I had a feeling that Florida was going to come out, play really good at home, and Texas wasn't ready for that, but I wasn't fully prepared for what that game was.
I don't know what it is, but Billy Napier always finds his way off the chopping block. Mm-hmm. And he might be back on the chopping block later this season, but I would almost guarantee he gets himself off of it again. When it comes to a game that he must win, he finds a way to win it. Finds a way to win it. And I do truly think this Florida team is a good, solid team.
Right.
I just think that there's a lot of inconsistencies that they have going on.
And that schedule's just brutal.
It's just brutal.
Like, what do you expect when you're playing that week in and week out?
And it is. It definitely is tough. But Texas, obviously we just talked about Penn State. Texas is one of those where it's just, I don't know if it's all a Arch Manning issue or talk about just strictly the offense. They do not look like the Texas that they should be this year.
The Texas they were a year.
And the Texas they were a year ago. And until I'm proven otherwise, I will continuously say that I feel like Arch Manning is the same thing that Quinn Ewers was, where he was just so hyped up. This was the next greatest thing, next number one overall pick, number one quarterback taken, and he just doesn't meet up to those expectations.
Right.
Doesn't mean that he's a bad quarterback. Quinn Ewers was a really good quarterback.
But it also took him years to develop.
Yeah.
And that might be what Arch is.
It could be.
He just needs time.
It might just need time. And Ewers definitely needed some time. I still don't think that he reached the caliber that they anticipated, but I don't. There's a lot of people that I've heard things from and seen things from regarding him. And there's speculation going on from, is it just he feels like the weight of his name, or is he really just not that good? Is he just still too young? Because he is just a sophomore. Right. This isn't like a junior or senior we're trying to talk about. And he does have some growing to do, but he doesn't. You would have expected a lot from the type of caliber player that they said Arch Manning was, and he just has not shown it. Yeah. And the only time that he's shown it was against Sam Houston State, and that's Sam Houston State.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Here's just a brief look. We'll dive into this more as the week goes on. This is the games we're looking at coming up this week. Big one on Friday if you're looking at the group of five. South Florida at North Texas. Texas is 5-0. That offense is on fire. South Florida's 4-1, ranked 24th. You got Tennessee hosting Arkansas, Ohio State at Illinois, Bama at Missouri. That's that dreaded noon kickoff you've been talking about. Indiana at Oregon. That's in the 2:30 slot, along with Oklahoma and Texas. That's usually that 11 a.m. game.
Yeah.
And they bumped it
down
up
there
to
in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah. NC State and Notre Dame, that could be tricky because you never know which NC State team's going to show up. Florida's at A&M, coming off a big win. Texas Tech is going to get a test from Kansas because they can't stop anybody, but they can score a lot of points. Michigan at USC, and then a couple big ones in the Big 12. BYU at Arizona, and Arizona State at Utah. So we're starting to see that separation in these conferences right at this time. And we knew it was going to happen, but it seemed, every week we're looking at something like, that's gonna put this team up here and put this team down here, and it's every week we're having those games.
It's every week, and I feel like it's just fantastic for college football because we had a conversation with my brother the other day about it, where it was like, you don't the days of the old school dynasties are over. Week in and week out, they don't exist anymore, and like I said, I feel like you need to redefine dynasty. It's like, you might have one for a couple years and then it's over. It is week in and week out, and you don't know what you're going to get. Bama could go into Columbia, Missouri, and get butt whooped, and you're just like,
where'd that come from?
And then you go up and Indiana's playing Oregon. Well, Indiana goes and butt whoops Oregon. You're like, you just don't know now.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's all wide open. So in this day and age, ask Penn State. You can't just go anywhere on a cross-country trip and think you're going to dog walk anybody. It doesn't happen anymore. Well, coming up next, we'll talk some NFL and MLB playoffs when we return.
For over 50 years, Southern Tennessee Regional Health System Lawrenceburg has been a cornerstone of care in Lawrence County. From cardiology to orthopedics, general surgery, primary care, and women's health, we offer compassionate expert care close to home. Our ER is now stronger than ever with more providers, chest pain accreditation, and our newest Joint Commission stroke accreditation because every second matters. Generations have trusted us for compassionate care and medical excellence. Faster, trusted, accredited. Emergency care with hometown heart.
Volco Auto Supply in Lawrenceburg has a legacy of being a family-owned and operated company. Since 1927, our business has grown and evolved into today's one-stop source for all your automotive supplies. But in that time, one thing has stayed the same, and that's our commitment to our customers and their needs. At Volco Auto Supply, you'll find everything for your car, truck, or even fleet of vehicles, but with good old-fashioned customer service the way it needs to be. That's Volco Auto Supply, 416 Buffalo Road in Lawrenceburg. Visit VolcoAuto.com. Want to take the next steps in taking care of your health? Tennessee Valley Allergy Services can make your goals a reality. Their team of doctors, nurses, and medical professionals are dedicated to providing allergy care and treatment, such as drops and shots, to fit your exact needs. Their expert services are for anyone ages 2 and older. Whether you struggle with environmental or food allergies, they've got you covered. Discover a better you at Tennessee Valley Allergy Services, located right next to the Zaxby's in Lawrenceburg. Book online or call 931-325-0757 to schedule your appointment today.
Efficiency, reliability, accuracy. Move forward with your real estate sale or purchase with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County, the most experienced closing team around. Working with clients locally and throughout the state, we offer a wide range of services, including the expertise of an on-staff attorney, backed by our more than 49 years experience in titles and closings. We get the job done on time at a fair price and ensure every last detail is correct. Our goal is to give you peace of mind. When you work with us, you work with people who live where you do. We understand the importance of the real estate community and strive to build strong relationships with all parties involved in the process. Whether you're buying a home, selling a business, acquiring land, or anything in between, you're in good hands with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County.
Put the most experienced closing team on your side. Contact Title and Escrow of Lawrence County today.
Good Works at Home, formerly known as the Summit at Home, is a licensed non-skilled agency dedicated to helping you maintain your independence at home for as long as possible. Our compassionate and caring staff provide support in various areas, including dressing, bathing, personal hygiene, transportation, cleaning, and companionship. Please call our office about services, payment options, and long-term care policies at 931-762-2310. We look forward to assisting you with keeping your independence longer.
If you're looking for a company that can do it all when it comes to building, look no further than Tennessee Properties. From new home builds to remodels and commercial projects, our contractors work hard to give your space a new life from planning to finishing touches. Whether it's new interiors or dirt work, they see your big picture without forgetting the small details. In the market for a new home, they partnered with Freeman Development to bring new homes to the Oak Hill subdivision of Lawrenceburg. That's Tennessee Properties, licensed and insured. Call today or visit tennessee.com.
Let me tell you about a place that has it all for your home, bedroom, kitchen, lawn, and more. It's a home-owned and home-operated business that's been around for over 70 years, so you know they're doing something right. At Swap and Shop Center in Lawrenceburg, you'll find top name brands for every room of your house and top brands for the outside too. Looking for appliances, televisions, couches, safes, bedding, mowers, and well, the list goes on. So make the drive today to 824 North Military Avenue in Lawrenceburg and be treated right.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Taylor Plott. Sam Campus coming and invaded our area.
He's now trapped in the corner.
What is he doing? You're getting mics? You don't have enough microphones?
We need some for the weather center. We're working on things. We're working on things.
Always stealing stuff from our side of the aisle.
These
Always.
used to be ours.
Used to be. They're ours now.
Yeah.
Okay. How many mics do you need?
3.
Like
I know that he's been testing them over there.
Okay. Is there like a hurricane coming through here right now?
No.
Oh, jeez. Good help's hard to find, Taylor.
It is.
It really is. Now let's get on over to the NFL, and I can't believe I'm saying this. The Titans won, but it's the way they won
that was incredible.
I love it because the Cardinals are in the 49ers division. The Cardinals have found ways to lose games this year. Speaking of, they found every way they could and finally executed a way to lose to the 49ers because the 49ers are trying to give that to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you have the guy. How many times have we seen this now? Like, how hard is it to run with the football over a line?
Yeah.
And not drop it before you get there. Like, he does that, and then you get this fumble. Or no, it was an interception, right?
Interception, and then he fumbled.
He fumbles, and they recover in the end zone. Like, strange stuff.
The thing that boggles the interception that then got fumbled and then rolled to the end zone, I can get behind. That was like one of those weird things that you can get every now and then as Sam tries to crawl under the
just walk through
the camera.
My goodness. You look like a 40-year-old man trying to crawl underneath that. Unreal. That
type of play, bizarre as it is, you can kind of, okay. But you're right in the sense, and we've seen this a lot more lately. It used to be a problem that would pop up maybe once a year, if that.
Yeah.
But I cannot wrap my head around how you're not aware of where the line is.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't play football long enough, I would still be aware of where the end zone is.
Yeah.
In baseball, I'm aware of where things are.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to beat a ball to first base, I'm going full speed until I feel myself hit that bag and then go past it.
Right.
That should be the same thing with football.
Yeah.
You might not have to go full speed. I don't even think he realized the guy was behind him.
No.
But just say he wasn't behind him. Yeah, you can slow down, but hold the ball until you get into the end zone.
How hard is it to run? Because I know you want to do your celebration, but run, hand it to the official in the back of the end zone, or off there, flip it off to the side. But there's been so many big plays made off of that one mistake.
Yeah,
just not like how hard. It's not that.
It doesn't.
Hard.
It does not seem that hard, and I don't. I try to put myself in those people's shoes, and I just can't because it's like that's not how my brain's wired. It's like I understand how to do certain things. Yeah. I don't get it. And that one, you can go back and look and say, okay, well, that interception, fumble, recovery for a touchdown. Okay, if you scored that touchdown, if that guy held that ball for just a half a yard more, we're not talking about this.
You win the game.
You win the game.
And you probably win it going away, in all honesty.
Yep.
Yesterday, Taylor, was all about comebacks and blowouts. Vikings come back against the Browns. The Broncos 17-3 of the Eagles in Philly come back and win. I watched a good portion of that. We mentioned the Titans, the Buccaneers had a big lead, lost it, and then had to come from behind and win in Seattle. Not easy to do. The Commanders go down 10-0, storm back and dominate in the second half, win that one 27-10. Then the Patriots pick up a pretty good. I did not see them doing that last night, but they found a way to come from behind and win.
They did, and I feel like the Patriots did two things. I feel like they at least gave the acknowledgement to the league that they are not the pushover that they had been over the past 2 to 3-ish seasons.
Right.
I feel like Drake May and that offense is a good, solid offense. Stevenson has fumble problems, and then I think we'll have to figure out what happened with their backup.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've actually said what happened with him. If it's like
it's the NFL, it's like the government.
It's like
always believe what they say.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like they have a good, solid offense, and that defense. Yeah, Buffalo did score. Buffalo did what they needed to do, somewhat on offense, but I feel like the Patriots, gave the acknowledgement that they are a good team this year, and they can go in and beat you on whichever week. And the other thing is, I feel like you have another acknowledgement that Vrabel is a good coach.
Yeah, he is.
And me not being a huge Tennessee fan, Titans fan, I still feel like that he was a good, solid coach to have. There was just other things that were missing, and he's proven that he can go into this New England team and win. The other aspect of this game, the Bills did everything possible to lose that game. The offensive penalties, the holding calls. I don't know what the final penalty count was, but I want to say at one point going into the fourth quarter, it was like 9 penalties for like 70 yards. And they found. I'm not taking anything away from the Patriots because I felt like that they went in there and they won, they got it done.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff on Buffalo's end where it's like y'all shoot yourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And now you see the consequence from it. Yeah. And obviously it's the first loss. It's not the end of the season, but it's still like kind of shot yourself in the foot way too many times.
Here are the blowouts from yesterday. Colts over the Raiders 40-6. Wow. Saints actually kind of dominated the Giants. The Giants had 5 turnovers on their last 5 possessions. The last NFL team to do that was the 2007 Jets.
Oh my gosh.
Was to have 5 turnovers on their last 5 possessions.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Jets, the Cowboys, that could have been way worse than what it actually was, 37-22. I forgot this one. The Panthers and Dolphins might have been the best game yesterday. That fourth quarter that second half, late third quarter into the fourth, very entertaining. Panthers pick up their second win. Texans, huge, 44-10 at Baltimore. That got a lot of people talking. And
Baltimore is just a huge question mark right now.
Wow. They're 1-4, 1-2 at home, and they made the struggling Texans look like who we thought the Texans were going to be going into it. I'm just really, really shocked. And then Monday night tonight, interesting one. 2-2 Chiefs at the 3-1 Jags, and Jaguars 2-0 at home. Monday Night Football. This team is playing way better under a brand new head coach.
They're playing way better, and I think that the big question with this one, obviously you want to see them take a step forward, be like, okay, well, how good are you this year?
Right.
And I feel like even though you have a struggling Chiefs team that has gotten somewhat better over the past couple weeks, if you get a win with them, I feel like that's a good leap forward. I still feel like the big storyline with this is, are the Chiefs going to win? Right. What Chiefs team are we going to get? Because they have been doing better over the past couple of weeks, but is it going to be what type of team are the Chiefs this year? Because I still feel like there's a big question mark on them.
And there's been some strange Monday Night Football games in Jacksonville, like some strange ones where, the Super Bowl, team that went to the Super Bowl is maybe one of the favorites to get back. Then they go in there and things are a little different here. It's never easy to go into Jacksonville on a Monday night. Kind of switching our attention to Major League Baseball in the DS or the Division Series, and Taylor, just like the NFL, we had a mixture of blowouts and come from behind wins. Tonight, Cubs at Brewers. Speaking of blowouts, you could have just forfeited after the second inning in that game and saved your bullpen. And then the Dodgers, who were down 3-0, came from behind to beat the Phillies. So that one's interesting.
That one's 2-0, right?
Yeah, that's 2-0. The American League right now, the Mariners had to come from behind to beat the Tigers yesterday. That's tied up 1-1. And then the Blue Jays offensively are just hitting everything out of the ballpark. And then, they go to another hitter-friendly ballpark on Tuesday. I think we've got all 4. Nope, it's just the American. That's weird. Oh, that's right, because we're traveling. Yeah, that makes sense. Best of 5 series, so it'll be NL today, AL tomorrow, and these are all, I just don't trust the Phillies pitching staff. The Cubs are throwing their ace today. I really don't know what to make of any of these games because you just don't. All these teams are just so unpredictable.
They're so unpredictable. I feel like I don't know why, and I don't think this is just the Phillies bias in me because I don't like the Phillies at all. I really do think that the Dodgers are just going to end up sweeping them. I think they're taking 3 games and they're just moving on.
I've felt that since day one.
Yeah.
Just something a little volatile about this Phillies team, like too many big personalities and some of them not playing as much as they want to and how much of an effect that has, and then you lose your ace.
Yeah.
At some point, your pitching isn't as deep as what you want it to be.
And the offense is not clicking. Like, if you look at the Phillies teams, especially last year, and then the one that they got to the NLCS, they were very, very hot going into the playoffs, and they rode that going through their runs.
Yeah.
This one doesn't seem like it. This was just a Phillies team that they were really good. They won the East and they got in, but they were just not. They weren't your typical Phillies teams that were riding high going into the postseason. And I feel like that they're just running into a Dodgers team that is just the Dodgers are being the Dodgers, and they're really, really good, and they're just going to mow you down.
Right.
I'm very curious to see what happens with the Cubs and Padres.
Me too.
I mean, I feel like the Cubs are. I feel like they're a really good team. The Padres just came out clicking on all cylinders the other game. The Brewers. Y'all had the Padres the first time. They got the Brewers. It's like I knew the Padres were in there somehow. This is what happens when the Braves don't make the postseason. I just check out and just go to football.
Well, the Brewers are, they don't check out many metrics. They're not a hard team pitching wise. They're not a big power team offensively. They don't run the bases well. Defensively, they're average, but they're scrappy. They play hard. They play together. They're fun to watch.
Yep.
They just and they have a team with the killer instinct. Now the Cubs got the better of them during the regular season, and I mentioned early on there was a 5-game series at Wrigley. Cubs took 3 out of 5, and that really kind of turned their season around and got them on this really good run. They were just too far away from the Brewers to even have a chance to win that division at that point. But they had a chance to win all 5 games in that series, and you can make the argument they should have won all 5 games. I'm just wondering if tonight, with the day off, because I always think back to 2015, the year that really sparked the Cubs to become what they eventually became the next year. They win the wild card in Pittsburgh, then they have Game 1 in St. Louis and just doors get blown off, that they come out in Game 2 and the offense sparks, and then the Cardinals couldn't slow them down. I think this is a must-win for the Cubs tonight. Because if you got a chance to win this series, you have to take one on the road. Do that before they go to Wrigley, because they don't play well at Wrigley. You got to get one tonight.
You need to be able to go back to Wrigley having a 2-1 lead and just needing that one more game to get in.
It's just like the Phillies need to win tonight, because you don't want to go down 0-2 to Los Angeles, because chances of you winning both of those are not high.
They're not high at all. And I feel like out of those 2 matchups, I do think that the Brewers-Cubs, that the Cubs have the better chance at getting, because it is tied 1-1, right?
No, it's 1-0.
It's 1-0, okay.
Tonight's Game 2.
Tonight is Game 2.
For both of those series, it's Game 2.
Okay. I thought, no, Dodgers are up 2-0, I thought.
1-0.
1-0?
Yeah, it's 1-0. Here you go. See, Game 2, 1-0.
I could have sworn that they had 2-0.
It was all AL yesterday.
That's right, it was all AL yesterday, Either way, I feel like the Cubs have the better chance at tying at 1-1, going back to Wrigley, and being able to take that 2-1 advantage. The Phillies, on the other hand, I really feel like that they go down 2-0. And I mean, you go over there to where they're at.
Dodger Stadium.
I'm trying to remember who has home field advantage. I think the Phillies have the advantage right now.
Phillies,
so you go to Dodger Stadium. You're not looking good at that point. And I feel like if there was going to be a sweep, I feel like the Dodgers take the Phillies 3-0, and I feel like the Cubs, they have the better chance at getting it done.
Got to win tonight. You got a better chance of because they don't play well at Wrigley, never really have. So you got your chances to get them.
Now he's got to get him.
Tonight. Ace on the mound in Shota. Hopefully he has a good game, doesn't throw 84-mile-an-hour meatballs to the best hitters, so we'll see what happens. Well, that will do it for X Sports today. So for Taylor Plott, I'm AJ Good. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Going the